salam. How are you?
I'm not good.
All right. Good afternoon. This is Attorney Talib Kareem, and we are broadcasting from Washington, D.C., actually right outside, about a minute and a half from the D.C. Maryland border. And we are happy to have in our conversation today Munir Shaikh, who is with the Bayaan Claremont Islamic Graduate School. And we actually recorded a conversation with him, or I Am Muslim America, about a year ago, almost December 15th or December 16th. And that was at a conference in Los Angeles, California, not too far from their headquarters. And of course, it was before the pandemic, and they were, really doing great work to recruit students. But we wanted to come back and converse with him and get an understanding about how things have been going since that original conversation. We've heard a lot of good things about the Institute in the past year, and give us an understanding about, just the history of the school and how it's pivoted, if you will, during the pandemic. So why don't we just first start by giving our audience an understanding of who you are, Munir. I mean, how did you come to this position, first of all?
Sure. Thank you so much, Brother Talib. It's good to be reconnected with you. As you indicated, my name is Munir Shaikh. I am the Vice President of Operations and Academic Affairs here at Bayaan. I've been working in the nonprofit educational sector for pretty much my entire career. Worked in a series of different nonprofits focused on history, social studies, Islam, the place of Islam in world history, and how the coverage of Islam in educational materials and in the K through 12 level could be improved through an engagement with scholarship as well as the publishers themselves and their teams, so that they could be educated about a different frame for understanding global history and the place of Islam in that. And then I moved on to working with some initiatives in online education when that was first getting up and running, in the late 2000s, as different learning management systems started to come into being. And
which ones did you work with?
Which organizations?
In the online learning space.
Well, it's an organization called Hadi, which is based here in Southern California. They also operate the website Islam is City, which many people know. And that's a website that is meant to be accessible to the general public. But Hadi had an educational arm called Classroad, which focused on online teacher training for teachers of world languages, particularly Arabic. And so I was involved in helping set up some of that infrastructure and developing a community of teachers to benefit from those trainings. And then from there, I came to Bayaan. Bayaan started in 2011, and it as part of the Claremont School of Theology as an independent kind of nonprofit that was embedded in the school in order to provide master's degree programs that were accredited and were focused on developing leadership within the Muslim community. So since 2011, Bayaan has had almost 40 graduates to date, and currently we have about 70 or so students in various degree programs. And we were previously hosted by the Claremont School of Theology here in Southern California. Now we have migrated our academic programs to the Chicago Theological Seminary. We, as staff, are still based in Los Angeles, but our academic program is facilitated through Chicago Theological Seminary. I can say more about that.
So you're no longer the Bayaan Claremont Institute, it's now the Bayaan Chicago Seminary Institute, is that the name?
Yeah, sometimes we call it Bayaan Chicago. And, it's basically Bayaan Islamic Graduate School. We have our master's degree programs at the Chicago Theological Seminary, but we also have other educational initiatives. We have something called Bayaan Online, which is a platform where people who are not part of our graduate school, who are not seeking a degree, but people who want to have access to the graduate course material, they can go to bayanonline.org and subscribe to our platform and access a lot of courses that have been taught at Bayaan Graduate School that we filmed and recorded and edited. And so it's kind of like a Netflix for graduate courses, you could say. Mm-hmm. So anybody out there who would be interested in learning from Dr. Sherman Jackson's course or Jonathan Brown's course or Ingrid Mattson's course, Suad Abdul Khabir's course, these are all things that we package and put up on Bayaan Online. And each month we continue to add more material. So as you maintain your subscription, you get access to an increasing number of courses. And it's kind of like being in the classroom in a way. There's no certificate or degree that is earned through that process, but it is a way to access the content.
Now, how much does the content range from? We mentioned a Netflix subscription. How much are the subscriptions generally?
It's basically $10 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty reasonable, and again, it's very structured academic material. So it's not like going onto YouTube and just searching for different lectures, which there's plenty out there, and those are all nice one-off pieces of information and inspiration that you can get and benefit from various different speakers, whether the khatibs or public celebrities or, even academics. But our particular platform hosts only the content from our graduate courses. So it's a little bit more focused and more grounded in a kind of scholarly pedagogical approach. So it has, benefits in that regard.
It's actually quite interesting. I taught labor relations and business law at a local college here in the DC area. And I always, I started actually early in my career recording my classes and broadcasting them actually via Facebook. And then I migrated some of them more over to YouTube. And it, to me, always struck me as being an ideal amount of content to broadcast, especially topics such as law and business law. So it sounds to me like a great idea. Congratulations, mabruk to you.
Yeah.
And tell me, in terms of just the appetite, how many people generally have subscribed to that type of platform so far?
I think we have maybe 500 or so subscribers, and then, every month there are new subscribers and there are some who fall off. And, so it's that's an effort in and of itself, just to kind of continue to grow the base of subscribers. But one of the reasons for doing this is, one, to provide access to that material, but two, it helps Bayaan financially, obviously, if we're able to generate enough subscription revenue to offset, some of our operational expenses. So we become less dependent upon just donations. And, of course, the graduate school, there's tuition that comes in, and that covers a portion of our budget. But, you have to look at multiple kind of channels of or streams of revenue to sustain an initiative like a graduate school. The other thing with the Bayaan graduate program is that we offer a significant number of our students a full tuition scholarship. So they're not paying tuition. Some of our students are, but many of our students are not, because they've been eligible to receive a scholarship called the Muhammad Ali Scholarship for Spiritual Leadership, which has been offered with the partnership and support of the Ali family.
So how much does the Ali family pay in that scholarship?
So the family does not support the scholarship from a financial perspective. They gave us exclusive permission to utilize the name of the legendary Muhammad Ali, which is invaluable. So it's really the only graduate scholarship dealing with Islamic studies that has an affiliation with Muhammad Ali.
Mm.
That took some doing to get that kind of permission. But based on that relationship, we're able to go out to our broad Muslim community and say, look, do you really want to make a difference in supporting leaders who are working in underserved communities? Because we talk a good game, but we have to actually do something to sort of channel resources in a way that will bring up and elevate all of our communities.
So, just so the Muslim community can understand, the level of commitment and obligation that you all have to make on an annual basis. What is your annual budget?
So I'll say that, in terms of the scholarships, the degree programs at Chicago Theological Seminary are, if a student wants to get a Master of Arts degree, that's 48 units, roughly $48,000, you could say, for, over the period of 2 years or 3 years that a student might take to complete that degree. We have another degree called the MDiv, the Master of Divinity, which is an important degree for those who are interested in chaplaincy. And that's a 75-unit degree. So again, it's something like, the full tuition cost would be $75,000 over a period of 3 or 4 years that a student might take to complete that degree. But, our overall budget is about $1.5 million to sustain the graduate school. And that is possible partly because of the embedded relationship in Chicago Theological Seminary, because the accreditation of our degrees comes through the seminary, even though we have a lot of autonomy and independence in terms of what courses we want to offer and who are the faculty that'll be teaching those courses and what the objectives are for our particular degree program concentrations. A lot of the admissions and the registration system and the student management system and the IT support and the facilities, the library, all of that is sort of made possible through this partnership. If we had to undertake expenses for those things independently, certainly the budget would be, several orders of magnitude higher. So it works in a kind of good way to have this kind of partnership.
Now, in addition to the logistical support that you get from the Chicago Theological Seminary, do they actually help to at least take a percentage of that annual $1.5 million budget off of your shoulders?
Of course, it's it has to be a win-win arrangement for all partners. That's a truism for any kind of partnership. So yeah, our students have to take a certain number of courses with the faculty of the seminary. So within their degree programs at Bayaan, they're taking 75% of their courses with Bayaan faculty and 25% of their courses with CTS faculty, and CTS keeps that revenue.
Interesting. And, can you just give folks two perspectives? One is a perspective by people who are in various communities outside of the California or Chicago area who, have had similar ideas about creating Islamic schools and or universities. What is the process by which you guys pursued this aspiration and made it a reality?
Yeah, well, as I indicated, Bayaan first started offering its program in the fall of 2011, and that was preceded by several years of conversation between the Claremont School of Theology and its leadership and the local Muslim community in Southern California. They reached out to the Islamic Center of Southern California, where Bayaan's president, Jihad Turk, was the imam and religious director. And not necessarily at that stage was it known that such a thing as Bayaan would emerge, but they were interested in partnering with a Muslim graduate institution in Southern California. They had already established a relationship with a Jewish graduate school called the Academy of Jewish Religion, which prepares cantors and rabbis and chaplains to help support the needs of the Jewish community. They were also in partnership with a Buddhist institution. Hey, put us in touch with a Muslim institution. And, the Islamic Center and other Muslim organizations in Southern California that were consulted said, well, there isn't one.
Mm.
Even around the country, there really weren't any at that point. Zaytuna had just started around the same time as an undergraduate institution in Northern California. But the other initiatives around the country, American Islamic College in Chicago has been around, and they have had their, challenges. So in any case, that initiative was for Southern California. And there wasn't a graduate school that was Muslim-led or was designed to develop Muslim leaders. So the Islamic Center's leadership and the community said, well, maybe we can support this effort, find a way to work with the Claremont School of Theology. The school itself had received some financial support to establish a kind of consortium of interfaith graduate schools. So that really facilitated the emergence of Bayaan within the context of Claremont School of Theology. And then I began working with Bayaan and Jihad as the president, just to develop the institution, in those early years. And we had a few students. We had, 4 students in the first year. We had 8 students in the second year. And we continued to grow as word started spreading, but we were still a very local Southern California entity. But around 2014 or so, we transitioned to a hybrid format, which at that time was still very innovative and unusual. Nowadays, it's a lot more commonplace, especially this last year with COVID. So many people and institutions migrating to work from home or learning from home kind of thing. But back in 2014, we established a program where our students could live anywhere in the country, but they would have to come to Claremont for 1 week every semester, at least for 1 week, to meet in person with their professors and their peers in their class. Outside of that 1 week, they could be anywhere. And they would do some follow-up work online through the learning management system and have some Zoom meetings and things like that. So that enabled us to really expand our student base. We have students from all over the country at this point. As I said, we have about 70 students representing, diverse ethnic backgrounds, representing different regions, different professional backgrounds, different interests, and, both men and women.
And so let me also ask you from the second perspective is, let's say, for example, if I am a lawyer and I've done some, undergraduate work in Islamic sciences, particularly Sharia, and I wanted to, basically share the, my interests in both law and Islamic law, and I wanted to become let's say, a faculty member of a school such as Bayaan. How might one, approach you all with that idea?
Sure. Well, it's an interesting scenario. I mean, we do have a variety of faculty members representing different expertise. Sometimes, because of the particularity of the topic, the course could be an elective course in our degree program. Every student has to take, basically 4 electives, and the other courses, 12 or more courses in their programs, are designated in chaplaincy or in education or in leadership, and then core Islamic studies courses. Usually those core courses are taught by academics who have demonstrated, kind of significant achievement in their field. So Islamic law or Islamic theology. We usually have people coming in from, some of the premier institutions around the country, like Yale or Georgetown or University of Chicago or Berkeley or whatnot. So it gives our students an opportunity to study with these faculty from elite universities without having to go to those universities individually. So we're kind of aggregating that expertise at Bayaan. With the electives, there's more flexibility because we can bring in different faculty and focus on different topics. Then it's really just a question of how compelling is the topic in terms of, perhaps attracting enough enrollment for the course or something like that. So there's some logistical considerations in terms of that. And we get inquiries, from time to time from people asking if it's possible to teach a course at Bayaan. There are occasional opportunities.
Tell me, Munir, about in terms of some of the faculty, why don't you talk to us a little bit about who some of those faculty members are?
Sure. I think many people know Dr. Sherman Jackson. He's a significant voice in the American Muslim community, broadly speaking. He's a faculty member at the University of Southern California, previously at the University of Michigan. He wrote, a number of important books on Islam and Black America. So he teaches a course on that topic for Bayaan students. Dr. Ingrid Mattson, who started the Islamic chaplaincy program at Hartford Seminary, now teaches in Ontario, Canada, but she was at Hartford for many years and really initiated the development of a corps of Muslim chaplains, at least in terms of achieving sort of the formal certification for chaplaincy. So she's one of our instructors. Dr. Kamila Mu'min Rashad also teaches in our chaplaincy program. We have an in-house scholar named Shaikh Jihad Brown, who studied in Syria for many, many years and has traditional learning as well as expertise in philosophy and theology. We have Dr. Mohammed Fadl from the University of Toronto Law School, Dr. Asad Ahmed from UC Berkeley, who teaches theology and philosophy. Sheikh Walid Mossad teaches on Islamic spirituality. We have, a significant number of faculty from so many different backgrounds and universities.
And I would imagine not all of these are full-time faculty members. Are they mostly adjunct professors or what?
That's right. I mean, these are all guest faculty, essentially. They have, other full-time appointments in many cases, either as professors or chaplains or something like that. And so they come and teach during a specific semester that we have scheduled out for them. Right. And, that works for our own mapping out of the curriculum so that all of our students, whether they're new entering students or continuing students, they are able to enroll in a number of courses every semester to make progress in their program.
Excellent. So tell us about your, kind of marketing and promotions. I know that recently we've reached out to you guys to talk about possibly partnering with the Academy of Muslim Achievements Golden Minaret Awards that is scheduled to take place during the inauguration weekend here. I was going to say here in Washington, but really since it's virtually, it's nationwide. And we were talking about hosting a conversation on Islamic education with you guys. How many, would you say organizations are out there around the country who are focused on Islamic education, from schools like on the graduate level or undergraduate level, like you all, as well as K through 12, institutions in the United States? How many would you estimate there are?
From what I understand, there are, about 300 to 400 Muslim schools at the K-12 level. A lot of those might be associated with mosques, and a lot of them are independent as well. So that's K through 12, and within that mostly K through 6, maybe a few K through 8, and then a smaller number of high schools. So it's still relatively small. I mean, it is reflective of the fact that our entire Muslim community is maybe 4 to 5 million Muslims in America, or whatever numbers you want to take from different sources, but I think that's the ballpark. So in the higher education space is still very much in its infancy. There's really 1 or 2 undergraduate institutions. That would be American Islamic College and Zaytuna. And then there are, maybe 2 or 3 graduate institutions. with varying models for how they offer their programs. Zaytuna has a master's degree in Islamic texts. Bayaan, we have a Master of Arts and a Master of Divinity, and the Master of Arts has different concentrations. American Islamic College, I believe, has some graduate programs as well, and there's the new Islamic Seminary of America, which is on its way to offering degrees as well, and has some partnerships. So to my knowledge, and there might be one or two other, Respect Graduate School in Pennsylvania. I believe in Boston, there's an initiative to establish a graduate seminary in partnership with some of the interfaith seminaries in that region. So at most, there might be 5 or so higher ed institutions, and they appeal to different segments of our community, and they have different focus areas.
And so if we were going to, put it together, first of all, is there an organization of these institutions? Have you guys organized yourself at all?
We have had a few meetings together. We've all been in the room together, so to speak. This was facilitated a couple of times by the International Institute of Islamic Thought in Herndon, Virginia. So as an institute, as a research center, they are keen on facilitating the development of Islamic education at various levels in the U.S. context. And so they hosted a few of these sort of conversations just to kind of understand, the status of each of the institutions and their sort of mission and objectives, and, have some kind of leadership, meet eye to eye on certain things.
Is there a database of all the Muslim schools that are out there in the country?
As far as I would say grade schools, K through 12, I believe the Council of Islamic Schools of North America has a kind of database like that. It's kind of a membership institution. So, their databases, I'm sure, include both members and non-members. They do have different studies that take place and surveys and polls that go out to understand what the schools are dealing with, whether it's in terms of curriculum and Islamic studies or Arabic language curriculum or, bullying or, different things that they might be wanting to focus on for Muslim schools and even for Muslim students who are not attending Muslim schools.
Tell me, as we conclude, what has been the challenge that you all have faced during the time of remote learning? And it sounds like you guys were already kind of leading in this area. How easy or difficult has it been for you to transition to a total remote learning construct?
Yeah, well, fortunately, from a technology perspective, it was quite easy because, already every course, has a home on the internet. It's accessible to our students who are enrolled through a Canvas, learning management system. It's one of those LMSs that are out there that different institutions use. So they access their syllabus there. They access, communications from their professors. They access assignments and readings, and, they have to upload their assignments there, or they have to type in their responses to certain discussion questions that might arise. So that was already in place. It's utilized more so now, perhaps. Zoom meetings were also pretty common, and we mapped those out for the entire semester up front. So every student knows which class has a meeting on which evening of the week and, what those dates are. So there's a lot of administrative activity on our end and the staff side to make sure that students are made aware of all of the parameters for being a graduate student at the seminary and to continue to make progress. There's always a challenge of following up and making sure students are able to complete their work by the end of the semester. Sometimes students need a little extra time, especially now with the COVID situation. So there are some more accommodations that are being given to students in light of different commitments that they have. A lot of our students are working professionals, so they work full time, and they're, often they have families, they have obligations to take care of parents or others. So, we try to take those things into consideration while trying to continue to make, sure that they understand that the standards are high and that we have high expectations for them.
And so, if I now, after listening to this conversation with you, am excited about becoming either a graduate student or or taking some of your courses as a non-graduate student, how do I connect with the Bayaan Institute?
So yeah, thank you for asking. Our main website right now is accessible at bayaanclaremont.org, BAYANCLAREMONT.
So you still have the name Claremont, even though you're not connected to the Claremont Institute.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of our legacy, it's part of our story, our origin. So we definitely value that part of our lifetime, our lifespan, and there are new seasons and new stages. And we're happy to be with Chicago Theological as well. We value both of those partnerships. Our students who are coming into the programs now, of course, will be graduating from Chicago, but our 37 graduates to date graduated from Claremont. So that's something to be celebrated. The URL is bayaanclaremont.org. However, we'll probably be migrating all of our web identities onto bayaanonline.org. Bayaan Online is also where you can access the subscription-based courses.
Excellent. Well, we are very excited about this conversation. We're excited about hopefully having you continue the conversation in a panel of Muslim educational institutions during the day of conversations before the Muslim inaugural gala and Golden Minaret Awards on January the 15th, followed by the awards on January 16th. Last thoughts that you might want to share with us before we conclude?
Well, I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to address your audience once again. Last year, we had a brief opportunity, and this, I think, was a good follow-up. And, we definitely want to be a hub for different segments of our community to feel like there's a space to engage complicated topics in a cogent form, in an academic kind of setting where we can have respectful discussion and debate about where our community is going and how we fit into the society at large and what the contributions are that we can make, and we need to be able to have all of the voices at the table. So I encourage you all to learn more about Bayaan and offer us your suggestions, and we'd love to be able to serve your needs in different ways, whether it's through the graduate school or outside of the graduate school. We have a number of other initiatives that are in the works as well to provide education to our community at large.
And do you have an email address that people can contact either you or the institution? Because sometimes folks, like to have a personal connection.
Yeah, the easiest email address is probably info@bayaanclaremont.org. And if you check our website out, you can call us, if you'd like to chat by phone. Our number's there.
Even during COVID, there's still somebody manning the phones. Huh?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Good. Well, it's been a great opportunity talking with you.
All right, I look forward to hearing from you. Yeah,
absolutely. Wish you and all the brothers and sisters there the best, and ask Allah to shower His mercy and His barakah upon you all for the great work that you're doing.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.